Hi guys, I am working on my Porsche, trying to drain and replace the power steering fluid today. And I wanted to show you something real quick because I had a real hard time finding this information on the web. And I followed a video that gave me some bad advice and I wanted to show you. So first of all, this is the left side of the car. I call this the driver's side of the car. And this over here is the passenger side of the car. And it's the right side. And I call this the passenger side. The reason I'm going over this is there seems to be some confusion about this on YouTube. People like to say they're on the passenger side of the car when they're actually on the driver's side of the car. So let me show you what I just did, and I just had kind of a interesting event under here. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side of the car, where I was supposed to be working, according to the YouTube VOD guide video. And I've got it all, jacked up under here. And yeah, so supposedly the power steering line is, so the one I could find was a 986. Now my car is a 987, so it's a little different, but there are two lines running here. And they said it was the innermost one. And so I found, this line here is towards the inside of the car. This one's a little thicker to the outside of the car. And I tried to trace those up to feel where they went, but it was kind of out of my reach, way up there in the engine. And I noticed that there's the AC pump and the power steering pump are both up towards the middle above the engine. And it was definitely going towards there. And I thought, okay, well, one of these is probably the AC line and one is the power steering line. So I opened the one here on the inside, like the video said, and was very alarmed when steam started shooting everywhere and the car started making a high-pitched whistling sound, and I quickly realized that wasn't power steering fluid. It wasn't any fluid, really. It was pressurized gas and steam. I'm guessing it was, so both of these lines I think are coming from the AC. I don't know if one of them does coolant, one of them does Freon, I'm not sure, but these lines on the passenger side of the car, again, passenger side, this is for the AC, okay? So here we are on the driver's side of the car, and if we go under and take a look again on the driver's side, let's see what we have under here. Okay, so now we've got a blue line and a couple other lines. This looks more like what I was expecting to see, with several lines here, like that was being shown in the 986 video, in the older Boxster. The difference here is we don't have an easy way. Actually, so what happens here, this is where it comes out. And again, it's hard to tell because it winds way up above the engine. But underneath this plastic panel here, this lovely plastic panels you have to remove, there should be a way to open the power steering line. Again, I don't know why this is a difficult concept, but this is the driver's side of the car. All right, so now we're going over the driver's side. I've taken the plastic panel off, and now that I see this, I feel kind of stupid because this looks basically exactly like the 986 video that I was referring to. It just didn't look like that on the passenger side where he said he was, and I thought, well, I guess from the 986 to 987 generation, they changed a few things. Well, I should have known. They really didn't. This is the same design as 986, which means that this right here on the outside, I'm sorry, the inside, is my power steering line, and it's probably even the same nuts here. It's two 15 millimeters that I've got to loosen. And then I better have my bucket ready. Power steering fluid is supposedly going to come out of here. If I get a steam bath again, I'm going to be very upset. Okay, so here's the line. I used two 15 millimeter wrenches, separated those two. Felt like I was stripping that. It took a lot of pressure to get that open, but I swore it was stripping, and then it popped, and then all of a sudden fluid came out. So it's open now, and I will wait for this to fully drain out into my bucket, and then we'll replace the power steering fluid. All right, so here is the valve I've tightened. Now when I first started trying to unscrew this, it wasn't moving, and I realized there's this little clamp on the line that holds it in place. So you've got to use, I think I just pulled it off with my fingers, but it might take needle nose pliers or something if it's not coming off easy to pull that off. And that just clips in right there, and that holds the valve together so it doesn't come loose. Alright, so make sure you pull that off before you start trying to undo the 15 millimeter nuts. Alright, now the power steering fluid is all out of the system, and we will proceed with refilling it. Alright, wanted to give you good orientation here because I hate when they just show close-ups of the engine or under the car. So we're on the driver's side, and this right here is where you fill up power steering. So I'm going to open this, and there we go. It's got a little dipstick built into it, and as you can see, it is empty because I have drained out the fluid. All right, I've got a funnel in there, and this is the power steering fluid that Porsche says is really the only stuff you're supposed to use in the Boxster. And they make generic stuff, but this is what's recommended. And it was about $29, I want to say, for this little container of steering fluid, which is definitely the most I've ever paid for a small container of fluid. But I want to get the right stuff. Don't want to don't want to cheap out at this point. So here we go. Okay, so now I've filled the fluid back up, and I've got a good measurement. I will check it again here real quick. Come on, buddy. Okay. And well, yeah, it's right in the middle of the cold section, which the car hasn't been running all day, so that's good. I think what I'm gonna do before I wrap this up and put everything back together, the other thing we should also check is there's nothing leaking down here, so that's good. I guess I can put the plastic panel back on the bottom of the car. I should probably do that now. But before I put everything back together up here, what I'm gonna do is I'll put the engine panel back on, but I'm not gonna put the carpeting or subwoofer back in, which goes up here. Instead, what I'll do is I'll just put the cover on and drive it around for a while, and then I'm going to take the cover off and check the level again to make sure that the power steering fluid is still good, because I'm just checking the reservoir right now, and I would hate for it to go through the system and actually need more fluid. So I want to drive it a while, check it again, and then we'll go from there. So one other thing I wanted to try to show while I'm putting this panel back on is Porsche gives you these nice little nuts that connect the plastic panels to the bottom of the car, and they seem like really friendly little things, but when you try to put them back on, you'll find they don't really thread properly. I'll show you why. There, I'm gonna tighten this one up. And you really don't want to over tighten these because they're not real nuts. They are kind of a hybrid of a nut and a clip. So I'm gonna stop right there. Once you get a little past hand tightened, you kind of want to stop. So what these are, let's see if I can focus on this. See, it's got a little pinch point in there that goes around the screw, but there really are no threads. So it's just sort of, it just sort of hangs onto the screw like a clip, and you screw it in, and it just fastens up there. But it's not something you want to over tighten. So you want to be real gentle. They come off great, and you think these are the greatest things ever, and then when they go on, they're kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah, just be gentle with the nuts on your plastic panels. All right, so I just got back from a little test drive with the new steering fluid. And I just opened the back up. And let's check the fluid here. And looks like, if we can focus on this here, it is reading low now. It's reading down in the cold range. Can I focus on that? Okay. Yeah, it's just a little, it only shows like a little drop on the bottom there, and when it's hot, it's supposed to show more than half full on this dipstick. So we've got to add more fluid. So the car should be reading in the hot range now. So I'm gonna add some more power steering fluid. And one other thing, when I was driving it around, it was making some weird noises at low speed steering maneuvers. I heard from the front left some very strange squeaky sounds. So I think that's just the fluid working through the system. So we're just gonna add a little bit more of this fluid here. Let's try a little bit and then remeasure. Well, we're back on the road, and the steering feels good now. The top off I did at the end seems to have done the trick. It feels like new. It's got the new fluid in it. Unfortunately, and I'm sure that some of you could guess this from what happened earlier, the air conditioner was indeed broken. Did not blow cold anymore after my little mishap on the wrong side of the car. So I actually brought it in today and had it serviced. After the recharge, now it's blowing cold again, and we're doing fine. I figure the car's about 15 years old. It probably could benefit from a recharge anyway. At least that's what I tell myself, so I didn't waste a bunch of money. So thanks for watching the DIY Porsche guy. And, click the bell and like and subscribe and all that jazz. I'm not really a YouTube guy, so you know what to do. Tune in next time to see what else I can break. Thanks for watching.